Hi, this is your hostess, Abby Weatherford, and
I'm Lexi Klausner.
coming to you live from
Did you hear that? Today, we will be speaking to you about auditory impairments.
There are two kinds of auditory impairments. The first one is congenital, and the second one is acquired. Congenital is hearing loss that happens at birth, and acquired is hearing loss that happens over time. Congenital, birth, acquired, over time.
To be a little bit more specific, I'm going to talk to you about the types of hearing losses. The first one is conductive hearing loss, meaning that there is damage to the outer ear. This type of auditory impairment is usually fixed through surgery. Another type of auditory impairment one can have is sensorineural, meaning that there is inner ear damage or there's damage to the auditory nerve. You can also have a mixed hearing loss, which is a combination between conductive and sensorineural, basically meaning that there's damage to the inner and outer ear. Auditory neuropathy spectrum disorder means that the inner hair cells are damaged. Central hearing loss means that you have a properly working cochlea, but dysfunctioning parts of the brain. And last but not least, auditory processing disorder means that one can hear well in quiet environments, but they can't hear well in loud environments.
There are many different causes of auditory impairments. The first and main one being otis media, which is a common ear infection in the middle ear that greatly can affect your hearing. There's also blockage in your ear from common things such as dirt, earwax, or fluid from the common cold that you might need this for. There's also certain kind of damages that can hurt your ear, such as jamming a Q-tip in your ear. Do not do that. Also, very loud noises or a sudden change of air pressure could damage your ears. Also, injuries to the ear or head can affect your hearing. Pregnancy complications can affect your hearing. Different sorts of infections can affect your hearing. And medications such as antibiotics or chemotherapy can affect your hearing. And last but not least, loud noises can affect your hearing.
I did not see you there. I'm going to discuss diagnosis of a child with auditory impairments. There are a few common phrases you might hear in the child's life that may determine or point to the fact that they probably have an auditory impairment. The first one is, quit mumbling! The child might often ask the people around him to quit mumbling as he cannot hear what's being said. Can you repeat that? Maybe another phrase you hear the child with an auditory impairment say, as they often need repeating of phrases. You don't hear well might be something you hear from parents, other peers, or other teachers as they speak to the child. What did you say, Dr. Cabot? Might be also something you hear the child say in our special education classroom that we are currently in, because the child needs, again, repeating of phrases. Turn down that music might be something the parents often tell you as the teacher that they have to say to their child because they're blaring music. And last but not least, when the phone's ringing or when the doorbell's going, are you going to get that? Might be something the parent also tells the child who has an auditory impairment.
There are different kinds of treatments you can use to help your student or child with an auditory impairment. Let me tell you what those treatments are. Number 1, remove the wax or dirt from their ear or have a medical professional do this. Number 2, there is always surgery to help the student or a child with this impairment. Number 3, a hearing aid is always helpful, especially for anybody like my grandpa he had loss of hearing over time. And number 4, have a cochlear implant installed in their ear. Now you might be asking, what is a cochlear implant? Well, I am here to tell you. A cochlear implant is a surgically implanted device that bypasses the damaged inner ear and sends signals directly to the auditory nerve. Now this is what a cochlear implant looks like. Now you have the sound processor on the outside of the ear with the microphone attached, and you have the transmitter system outside of this. So my friends, if you are having problems with auditory disorders, use one of these treatments for your help.
As a future teacher candidate, as a current teacher candidate and future teacher of America, you may be wondering, what can I do in the classroom? I have some answers for you. In the classroom, you can use amplifications or encourage the use of hearing aids for a child who may need a hearing aid or already has one. Assistive technology, you can encourage the use or provide access to assistive technology for children with auditory impairments to complete daily activities. Peer cooperation and collaboration is a plus. Putting children with auditory impairments with typically developing hearing children is a plus because it teaches them how to communicate with each other. Some practical accommodations you can do in the classroom: maximize the use of media, such as using videos with captions and subtitles. Preferential seating, meaning put the child in front of the class or next to where you usually teach so that they can be in closer proximity to your voice. Monitor student learning. You can often ask the child to repeat or rephrase things in the classroom, such as important events or instructions, to make sure that they are properly receiving the information. You can minimize environmental noise, such as hanging up curtains, putting in rugs, or decorations with corks, and shutting the door to the hallway to absorb extra sound. You can also use interpreters. If the child is fluent in sign language, you can have a sign language interpreter inside of your classroom. And last but not least, use visuals, visuals, visuals.
What was that?
Visuals! This has been your special edition of
Did you hear that?
With your hosts,
Abby Weatherford
and Lexi Klausner.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll hear from you later.